What is going on, Gaming Nation? We are back with another episode presented to you by Fandoms Anonymous. Today, we are talking about a kind of a theme that's going on with a lot of games nowadays. It's kind of cool when you think about it, and at the same time, well, we'll discuss it here on today's topic. We're talking about free games and whether or not they're actually, well, you'll see. So we're going to go ahead and introduce the panelists. And what's going on, guys? Daryl, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
Great, man. Can't complain, not one bit. Dan, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Clay? What's going on, Spotty? What's going on, Daryl? Let's get it in, man. I'm excited to talk about this topic, man.
And, of course, you just heard the name Spotty. What is going on, brother?
What's happening, everybody?
All right. So let's get started. Of course, my name is Clay. I'm from Tales of the Blade, and I'm your host for this show. Let's cue that intro. All right, so today we're talking about free games. Now, something that we've seen a lot lately in terms of games like Fortnite. And, of course, they're nothing really all that new. Something that just growing in popularity, games that have that come out and they're free to download, they're free to play, and they seem to have, kind of usually a little bit of something that's mixed in there with them, usually microtransactions, stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and let's kick it off to the panelists. Daryl, so let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about the pros of these things, man.
Okay, remember back in the day when you used to get those with like PlayStation 1, we used to get those demo CDs, and you only pay the demo just for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a free-to-play game is it's like a long demo. It lets you play the game, let you enjoy the game, and you can decide whether you want to invest in it or not. So that's great about it. That's one of my pros, I think.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's definitely a good point. It's a game that not only do you want to see or that you've seen play for a little while, but it's something that you can really get into it the more you play it. And for games like this, it's definitely a thing, especially where you now have the game sitting in front of you, and it's pretty much the full version for the most part for a lot of times, unless they make you buy or unlock the rest of the game itself. Dan, how about you, man? What do you think?
Well, I think there's a few pros I have for it. Not only is it free, but even if, like you guys said, if you want to put a little money into it, it's probably going to be inexpensive to start at least. You want to get your feet wet and add some extra stuff to your guy. You can spend $10-$20 and get things going. Now, on the other end, to make the games, it's also very cost-effective because a lot of these games are fairly easy to make in the sense of free games kind of started back like 2009, 2010 when the smartphones started getting better and everyone was trying to make these free iPhone games, free Android games. And now they're kind of branching off to the PC and to the consoles. But that's kind of where it started, and it doesn't take a lot of money to get these concepts and graphics and games going. And I think that it's cool to see because you can always have a new game coming out every few years, and they can upgrade it.
Agreed. And that's actually a really good point that you brought up because we did an episode, though it never was one of the episodes that we actually got finished, but that's okay. We were talking about, what was that name? Brawlhalla. That was a really good chance for us to kind of talk about this topic a little bit. We actually did a show very similar to this one in terms of, I think we were talking about like Battle Royale games last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, of course, those are some of the ones that are coming out that are really popular and kind of on everybody's, tongue. Everybody's talking about them, like Fortnite, which has become just enormous. Esports is covering it like crazy.
Biggest game I've ever seen.
Yeah,
bro. It's crazy.
PUBG, League of Legends, of course, which came out and that was free to play. All these different games that have jumped down into the mainstream that they give you a chance to, and this is, I'll go ahead and cover this part as my pro for it, my main pro, and that's actually like I'm playing a game. It's also cool that you brought up mobile games because I'm playing a mobile version of my favorite game series, which of course is Star Ocean, and it's called Star Ocean Anamnesis. I mentioned this as one of my coming ups here recently, and I've been enjoying it. It was a very short campaign, like 3 planet stories long, and then you go into just like missions and stuff like that, and it's pretty interesting. I'll talk more about that later. But for right now, the point I want to put across to it is that it's a game that once you get into it, it makes you want to kind of invest in it a little bit with microtransactions and things like that, but that's completely optional. The fact that they don't they don't force you to pay for this game is awesome in itself, because not only does it give you a chance to immediately jump in and enjoy it, but it also allows you to say, do I want to invest in this particular title? It's not something that you had to speculate about. It's not something that you had to wait for trailers or like anything kind of to come out before you saw what it was like. And that, to me, is probably the biggest pro about these free games. I'm turning it over to Spotty, see what he thinks.
I like free games because I can just pick it up, play it, put it down, pick it up, play it, put it down. It's a real good, like, time killer. Like, you're waiting on a plane or something like that. You're waiting for your food. You just pop onto a mobile game. You just, bam, kill about 10, 15 minutes, maybe up to an hour. Another one of my favorite free-to-play games is Star Trek Online. And it is still releasing new content. It's bringing in all the old actors to reprise their roles as the characters they played. But they're doing that because everybody's getting excited about the latest microtransaction content.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff you can get from the free ships, but it just looks so cool.
That even goes to what we were mentioning at one point in time on the show about Destiny and its microtransactions and how you kind of get sucked into the Eververse. And then it's just for cosmetic stuff, like, you know, the ships. You know, oh yeah, you got an exotic ship, but what does it really do? Nothing. It's just pretty, but it's your pretty, and it's something that you can enjoy while in game. So, I mean, those are all some really good pros about these things, and, you know, it definitely makes it sound like free games are definitely a good, I wouldn't say, I guess I could say investment. Not only an investment of time, but also, of course, in money. And if you're one of those people that firmly believes that time is money, then there you go. You kind of get both free. But let's talk about
another pro that I have.
Go ahead, yeah.
Another pro that I have about it is, let's say you're playing an MMO and the MMO is free to play. If you get tired of the MMO, there's no money lost if you like skip like 3 or 4 months. Don't play a game for a year. You're not out any of that subscription fee.
That's very true too.
Yeah, and then usually, you know, if you wait 3 or 4 months, they're gonna have some kind of special going on, and where you can get all those DLCs for, you know, half the price as somebody who first started playing.
Right. That's
Yep.
very true too. Or sometimes they might offer like a get back in incentive for something like that, and, you know, a little reward, something, or just something that they can throw in there to kind of entice you to come back to the game. For me, that's usually better content. I don't truly like jumping into a game and being like, oh hey, yeah, it's cool that you brought this back, but I mean, why? I left the game for a reason, you know what I mean? Like Destiny. Sorry, buddy. And you're talking about killing Cade. What's wrong with you? So anyway, for the sake of balance, we definitely want to talk about some cons here. You know, obviously, not everything is completely sugar-coated, rose-tinted, whatever you want to say, to make it sound like it's just a wonderful thing. There's always something wrong with, you know, everything in gaming. I mean, that's just the way gaming is. It's kind of balanced like that, which is really a cool thing. So let's go into cons. We'll start with Dan this time. What do you think about the cons are for free games like this,
man? Okay, so here's one thing that I really did like about Fortnite as a game, as a free game, because you can go in and you can spend money, but spending the money isn't really going to help your skills. You know, like, if you're bad at the game, you're bad at the game. If you're good, like, you can spend some money and upgrade your suit and your stuff, but you can't buy guns. You know, like, so I guess if you're not Fortnite, I see a lot of games out there right now. Maybe they need to follow what Fortnite's doing, but the biggest con is a lot of the time, to get people in that game to get some extra money revenue, they either put ads in or they make you buy that special loot box to make you better than the next person. You feel me? So that's kind of the thing that always gets me. And we talk about that on DLC games that we buy, but there's something sometimes about free games that, you know, because it's free, if you eventually like this game and you want to be really good, you're going to have to spend a nice little amount to get to the next level. Because I was playing this game, Power Rangers Legacy Wars, and I was beating up on everybody until these kids that just started, you on their account, start a few days ago. They literally just paid $40-50, got all the good suits, got all the good upgrades, and just started beating me up. And I'm like, man, I'm better than these guys. So that does kind of make me mad in a sense. I understand that, you know, they're coming up. This is a new game. They're trying to make money off it. In the sense of it, like, I get why they're doing it, but that's my con. I'm not a big fan of paying to beat somebody.
Okay, yeah, I completely understand that too.
There's a term for that. It's called pay to win.
And we hate that on this show. We really do. It's something that we've talked about constantly and that we're not really a big fan of. So, I mean, going into that a little bit, I mean, you might even talk about that in terms of pre-order bonuses as well. A lot of times you get a game that has, like, pre-registration or pre-order bonuses that kind of trump a lot of people. But that's really my biggest point that makes that a con is when there's a versus multiplayer segment, a PvP segment involved with the game, and that's, you know, something that you don't want to do. You don't want to walk into the field. You know, you just started out in the game and you just picked it up out of whim. Meanwhile, this guy that's pre-ordered it, pre-registered, studied it, and, you know, has been waiting for it for the past few months, picks it up, and he's got all these bonuses and just wipes the floor with you, and you're like, well, what the crap? Mm-hmm. So, and these are things you have to build up to and earn. Meanwhile, this guy just got on it and just got it scot-free. I mean, if you want to call that scot-free, that's kind of a loyalty-based thing, but, I mean, it is what it is. Daryl, how about you, man? What about cons?
Well, going off what Dan was saying, you know, I agree with Dan, everything Dan was saying. So, usually with a free-to-play game, it's always pay to win. I mean, that's always in there, and that's really, really bad because, you know, when you're working hard to build or something, and then somebody comes in and spends $50 and just beat you, it makes you not want to play the game. So that definitely hurts. And then usually free games, they're very expensive. They're very expensive. Like even MMOs, you know, usually a free MMO, you gotta buy some kind of loyalty pass to, you know, get the full game. You know, they give you the game, but they don't give you. They take some of the good stuff out of the game, and it hurts you. So you're going to have to spend a lot of money to get there. And the last con is usually this comes with mobile games, ads. You get tons and tons of ads. And it just started getting on your nerves. Like, you know, I was playing, you know, a game, what the game was? Subway Surf. And every time I die, I got to see an ad. Every few minutes, ad. You know, oh my God, just so many ads. It just makes you not want to play the game.
That's been getting on my nerves a lot lately with Angry Birds too. You know, it's like you get halfway through the level, like, oh, by the way, here's an ad. What? No, that's not what I wanted to see. No.
Yeah, what game was it I was playing? I think it was Sonic the Hedgehog came out with the free game on the phone, but then you have to pay. Pretty sure it's Sonic. I was playing it, and you can play it for free, but every few levels you get ads, you get commercials. You know, that's kind of the thing that comes with free games. Like, there's always something that's hanging on, why they're making you pay or we're giving you ads. And that's why I do like Fortnite so much, because there's not an ad in the game right now.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah. Spotty, how about you, man? Well, give me a con.
The cons that I have really don't have to do with anything about pay to win or pay for power. It's all about the addiction. Because I will admit I have a bit of a gambling addiction, and when you throw something that has loot boxes into it, it takes every shred of my willpower to avoid buying those loot boxes. Overwatch, you gotta buy the game, but you can also buy loot boxes. And I'm not going to disclose how much money I spent on Overwatch. I'm not going to disclose how much money I spent on Dead Destiny and Destiny 2.
Sure, it's just us. You can tell us. You know, just us and the fans.
He maxed out his
You can
credit
tell
card.
Oh man.
Well, I also maxed it out on I think I maxed out my credit card on Star Trek Online because Star Trek Online has its own version of loot boxes.
Yeah.
You don't pay for the loot box itself, but you have to pay to open the loot box.
What? So you already have the box, and what, you gotta like pay for the key? What kind of garbage is that?
You quite literally have to pay for the key. There's no
Free
guarantee that you
games, damn you!
Darn
but
you!
I was farming the boxes for what's called low-buy crystals, so I could spend the low-buy crystals for the really cool shit from the low-buy store. And I was able to get my cool stuff, but yeah, I'm paying for it now.
Wow, that's so bad.
Right, you know, you can be diagnosed. You know, it's a gaming addiction, right? You can be diagnosed.
But would that qualify as gaming addiction or gambling addiction?
Well, I don't know.
Both. I'm gonna see if I can get diagnosed with both.
Wow.
Dude, you never have to work again, bro. They're gonna keep you medicated. You can talk to somebody every day about the video games you play.
So wait, is this a con we're going on now? Because now we're talking about financial support for an addiction.
Yeah,
Hey, we're just trying to be there for our friend, man.
All right, so we're gonna file this one into pro now. That's a thing now. So there you go. Gambling addiction and addiction to free games falls under pro. It's fantastic. Hey, get that money, guys. Whatever you gotta do. All right, step 1, get money. Step 2, repeat step 1. All right, so now let's talk about a few of our favorite games. I mean, Spotty's mentioned Star Trek, and I want him to go more into that. And I've mentioned Star Ocean Amnesia so far because free is good. I'm also playing Bloodborne at the moment, which was free for a little while on PlayStation Network, but you got to pay for that. Hey, so it's not necessarily free, is it? Anyway, so we're gonna talk about a little bit about our favorite games. So actually, Spotty, let's go into more depth about Star Trek. Tell us more about that, man.
I love Star Trek Online because it's a space-based naval combat game. You have the facings of your ship. Your weapons can only shoot so far off of each side of your ship, and I love that aspect of the game. I kind of tolerate the ground missions, but those are still interesting in their own way because you bring your crew along with you. But I thrive on that space combat. Right now we're going through a summer event that has everybody just come into the vacation planet, taking vacation. It's a lot of fun because everybody's taking part in the dance competitions, and it's like, oh my god, we don't have to fight each other, and then we go right back to fighting each other.
Oh wow! Now,
but the thing about this, the summer event is really nice because they give you a ship for doing one of the challenges every day, and I think I've got like 17 more days of doing the daily thing before I get the ship.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Now you mentioned liking the naval combat or the naval combat aspect of it in space. There's a game out, and I'm pretty sure it's free to play. Correct me if I'm not. Clay, go ahead. Put that on the screen. Is it free to play? Okay, all right. So whatever your answer was, it's called Elite Dangerous. You ever heard of that one?
I'm pretty sure that it will not run on my rig, but I have been looking into another free to play game. That's World of Warships.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking about getting into that, but I haven't actually had time to look at other stuff yet.
Oh, are you afraid that? Are you worried that the Star Trek Online is going to look at you and think that you're cheating on it?
Well,
I'm cheating on it right now. Playing with Warhammer miniatures and stuff.
Oh, I mean, yeah, because Warhammer is.
You ain't loyal.
You ain't loyal. You trifling.
You're right. I'm not loyal. I'm a heretical traitor.
I'm not saying you're a credit digger, but you used to read a gold digger. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that kind of worked a little bit, I guess. Dan, let's talk about one of your favorite free games, man. Go for it.
Ooh, okay. So there's a game I started playing this game, man. I want to say 2011, 2012 when they first brought it up on the PS3. and it's still going. It's getting better every year. DC Universe Online.
Okay.
Now I bet we've all probably played this game. I mean, if you're a superhero fan, you know, you get curious. And this was one of the first like free-to-play games that I played besides like the mobile apps, like, you know, like the Flappy Birds, the Angry Birds, you know, stuff like that. And there was a good month and a half where I was playing this game like almost every day. Like I had my own character. He was he could fly, but he also had like telekinetic powers. He could like break things with his brain and read your mind. It was pretty cool, man. And you basically make your own superhero whatever way you want, and you can upgrade him through different missions and contest type things, or you can put some money into it like other games. But I really did like this game. I thought it was a pretty cool game because every month they kept adding something to it. And those are the free games that you want. You just don't want this free game that you're just playing the same thing over and over again. And then also, I gotta tip my hat to Fortnite because I'm not the biggest player, but I swear all my friends, they're obsessed with this game. They play this game, excuse me, they play this game like 2 or 3 hours a day at least, all together, and I'll come over to their house and watch them. And man, this is one of those games. It's super fun to watch. I see why it's the biggest game right now. They have some of the biggest gamers in like professional gamers in the world of gaming playing this game, selling this product. The millions of people are watching this daily on a stream. Like I was telling an old man that played like N64 and Nintendo that millions of people are watching these streams on Twitch, and he just didn't understand. He's like, wait, millions of people are sitting around their TVs and computers watching somebody play a video game? And I'm like, yes, this is the new level, man. And we talked about this a year ago, and it's just crazy to think how it's coming. And a few days ago they just added season 5, and they added a lot to this game, man. There's like a winter map now. There's like a corner where it's like snows, and then they have like this teleport thing that shoots you in the air now. And you can also drive now, like GTA. These little cart things. It's pretty cool, man. They just keep adding fun things to it every few months.
And of course, these advancements. I mean, you know, I do want to stress this point. The gaming companies, for the most part, when they get this big, they don't stick around like just in their basement and they just doing this for fun. Too many times they end up getting deals with ads. That's why we end up seeing them with ads. Of course, you got to make your money in some way, shape, or form. People are trying to get into this stuff because they want to make money and they want to make a career. They want to have fun with it. Even Scott Cawthon, who the Five Nights at Freddy's game, they were extremely popular, but he sold them on the cheap. And they got super big, and now he's super rich because of it. Even got deals with things like Funko and all these other different companies. These are guys that they want to make money. They want to make this into the career and have a great time with it, and you got to admire that. So of course, they're getting a lot of these advancements that Dan mentioned here on microtransactions. These are things that they are benefiting from, and then of course you get like a little fun thing here and there, maybe some cosmetics, maybe a new character, in terms of the one I'll mention here in a little bit. But for the most part, these guys are absolutely coming together and building something on things that people are saying that I want to invest in this. Daryl, how about you, man?
Well, Dan stole mine. Thief. But yeah,
Ooh,
DC
dirty
Universe
rat.
was it was one of the first games I played on PS4. It was really good. But another good free game I played was Skyforge. Skyforge was a really good game because it was an MMO, but it had great character development. I mean, you really had to develop your character. Even you get this certain kind of power where you can be a god. You even got to develop your god-like powers. So, I mean, that was a really, really good game, and it's still free now. You should try it. And even to get into the pay aspect of the game, it's not too expensive. So, that was really, really good. But another game, like I still play now, even when I'm at work, when I'm trying to hide from the boss, he's not watching. But it's a mobile game, Clash of Clans. And
Okay.
Clash of Clans is, pretty fun.
I mean,
You just scared me. I just got scared.
sorry about that.
Like, who put the dog in the house?
I've seen Clash of Clans. It looks like a lot of fun. Another one is like Age of Vikings or whatever it's called. There's
I never played Age of Vikings.
Yeah.
Never played that one.
I've heard
check it out.
I've heard it's pretty good. Check it out.
Yeah, but I like Clash of Clans because like we mentioned in other mobile games, there's a lot of ads popping up, and there's no ads popping up when I'm playing Clash of Clans. There's no ads at all.
Right.
So and it's free, and you gotta grind. If you don't mind grinding, if that's the only downside about the game, it's a large grind. It's real time consuming.
Right.
But those are pretty good games I like.
It depends on the grind, honestly. I don't want to throw too much of a point in this, but there are some games that are just really fun, mechanically speaking. Their gameplay style is really enjoyable, and they're a game that you can actually get lost in for hours and hours on end. So you don't really mind so much playing a game where you're going to spend just ungodly amounts of time doing the same thing over and over again, because you generally just enjoy the gameplay itself. One such game I could really bring to mind is the one I'm playing right now, running around in circles and just collecting blood echoes to level up. But the gameplay is really enjoyable. The atmosphere is awesome, and it's the kind of game I can also sit here and just play for hours and just do nothing major. But I have fun with that. There is a game that I could sit here and talk about, and I'm going to actually, and I did bring up that I wanted to talk about Star Ocean Anamnesis, which came out recently. It's been a really fun game, and yes, as far as microtransaction stuff is concerned, it's mostly towards getting new characters to add to your party, and you got to level them up the same way as you did your other characters. You can buy enhancements, but there's no PvP multiplayer, so it's nothing to really grit your teeth about. It's really just an enjoyable experience. I've had a lot of fun with it. But I really want to talk about a game that it wasn't necessarily free to buy, but there was no subscription to it, and the growth of it was pretty well free to go with it. And it's called Spore. I don't know how many of you guys actually played. I mean, does anybody actually remember that game even? Spore?
I remember.
It was a really, really interesting take on a game. I mean, first of all, in terms of its multiplayer, there was no actual player-to-player interaction. What happened was your characters were put into this sort of database, and through that, they were randomly brought into your world as different creatures or different civilizations, and it was really interesting. So you got to experience other players' creations through this particular database system, and it was really enjoyable. I had a lot of fun with that, and it's an older game definitely, and they've kind of grown on the concept in a couple of other games that didn't really do as well. But for me, Spore was probably one of the best free-to-play games that I've ever had the chance to experience. So definitely a big throwback to that. Now let's talk about, because like we mentioned earlier that we did talk about this briefly last year with our Battle Royale segment. The future of these games in terms of, is this a growing concept that's going to become something that's going to be more of a staple? Daryl, I'll let you touch up on that for a minute.
Well, I wouldn't say the future, but I definitely think, free games are here to stay. And I hope not every game gets involved into the free-to-play. Like I said, because sometimes free-to-play games can get very expensive, and I would hate for my, games that I like to be, get expensive. Like a game which coming up that we all looking forward to is like Fallout 76. Let's just say Fallout 76 was a free-to-play game, where all those DLCs is going to be free. That's coming out. We're going to have to pay for those DLCs. So, I like it in certain games. Okay, so
right.
I think they're here to stay, but I don't know about the future, because I don't know how the fans would feel about every game being free to play.
I mean, I can respect that for sure. How about you, Dan? What do you think, man?
I do think that they are the future in a way. free-to-play games, like Daryl said, they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. But since these games are starting to get some traction and make a lot of money, a lot of these other people are going to start looking at it, and a lot of these other game creators, and say, hey, why don't we do what Fortnite's doing? Why don't we do it like this? And, you know, there's always going to be games that you can buy the full thing for $60. But I think, like, the video game culture always follows trends. Remember back with the Wii, everyone had to make games for the Wii. Everyone had to make games for the DS. Everybody, you know, we follow trends. I think that this will be the big trend that, you know, everyone and their mom is already doing it right now. But I think even more developers are going to start making free games like Fortnite. Now, do I see it ever overthrowing like the regular classic gaming style? No, but I think it's going to make the market way more competitive.
Okay, I can definitely see that. I mean, you definitely want to properly be able to compete against games that literally could just get kicked out, and you know, people play them and enjoy them and then decide whether or not they want to invest in them from that point on. I definitely see that. And in a game market where people got to kind of look at what do you want to spend your time on and also your money, that's kind of a big deal. And I completely respect that. Spotty Bud, how about you, man?
I think that it is the future of multiplayer games. Like, if there's a game that has any chance of having like multiplayer, they're going to make it free to play, but they're also going to make like good stuff behind a paywall or behind microtransactions. Whether that be you have to purchase special currency in order to get this, or you have to unlock loot boxes. I think that's how it's going to go in the future of mostly exclusive multiplayer games.
Okay, and I can see that too. I mean, especially where esports are involved, I definitely think that's a big deal there. Because these are the games that are going to be the kind of ones that you drag people into, and you know, have big contests over and big championships. And, you know, they're easy to get behind because you're not spending a whole lot of money necessarily towards their initiation into your life. And therefore, they're easy to kind of market as something that you can grow into in terms of skill because they're more readily available. Does that make any sense at all? I don't think I did there for a second. But anyway, you get the idea. They're an easy way to kind of jump into something and get good at it, and all Dark Souls talk, and grow and actually make it something that you want to kind of develop into a talent that you can market as a sports thing that you can make millions off of. Because let's be honest, these guys who do these esports championship, they do make money, especially if they get a sponsor. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get a sponsor and you can sit there and you can live your life as a gamer. That's pretty sick, man. Definitely mad props.
Like piggyback off what Dan been doing about Fortnite. There's a guy called Ninja. Mm-hmm. And that guy been making some money. He been making some money out of Fortnite.
He's making $500,000 a month right now, bro.
That's insane.
Ninja is doing numbers. It is ridiculous. Like, I've been paying attention to esports. We all kind of have. We've done an episode about it, but I've never seen any video game have a $3 million prize pool. Fortnite just had one. Like, and every week some streamer is putting together $250,000. Like, every week there's at least one tournament with $250,000. Like, and that doesn't even include like all the other prizes that you win if you don't get first. It is just it's stupid how much money is going into this game right now. And Ninja is like the most popular, like he's kind of like the Jordan of popularity, but there's plenty of other streamers making a lot of money too. It just streaming, not even winning, just streaming.
Yeah, because I mean, you can go in on a Twitch stream, and not only if you have a sponsor, but you can also get donations from these people that will jump in and be like, "Oh man, that was awesome! Here's $10." It's like, cool.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here, I'd be playing for hours, and these guys are pulling in, oh, here's a $50 donation, here's a $20 donation, here's a $1 donation. These guys will pull in more money than I will working an 8-hour shift. So that's pretty ridiculous. And, I mean, to be able to live the life that they do, it's definitely one that you can get into, and you can market your skills as a gamer. Who would ever thought that we'd be living in a time where you can market your skills, a payable skill, a work skill, as a gamer? That's ridiculous.
Changes the game. And I mean, there's 3 colleges just in my neck of the woods that people have gaming scholarships now. Like, they have gaming clubs that compete against the other, and it's not a full, but like half of your scholarship, half of your $20,000 a year or whatever is being paid for because you can game.
It's absolutely crazy to think about, and at the same time, it's completely cool, and it's an awesome time to live in. It's an awesome time to be part of this gaming nation. You know what I mean? So that's where we're going to end the show, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it is our coming up segment this week. So what's going on, Daryl? What's your coming up pick?
Well, it's a game I seen at E3, and the last game that came out in this series, I didn't really like it because they had it chopped up in series. Is Hitman.
Okay.
I remember playing the first trilogy of Hitman, 1, 2, and 3, and the Blood Money was just so good. Was it Blood Money or Blood Moon? Okay, play up this for y'all.
Blood Money sounds right. Clay, what is it? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but this new Hitman game, I'm talking about, man, it looked great watching it at E3. I mean, it seemed like he was had to assassinate a race car driver, and it was great. So Hitman, that's my next game coming up.
All right. Dan, coming up pick for this week.
Yo, so my pick is a game that comes out in 2 days. Obviously it might be different for you guys, but this game in our time comes out July 17th. I've always liked watching this cartoon with my son. It is Adventure Time, Pirates of the Enchidorron. It is for Xbox One, Switch, and PS4. And you know what? For being like a kid IP, they always make good games for Adventure Time for some reason. I played the last one, and it's funny, it's quirky, it's got some comedy in it, but it's actually a good playable, good flowing game.
Okay, that's definitely awesome, and I am a big fan of Adventure Time. It's definitely a game that, like you said, it is comedic. The not the game necessarily, but the show, and it's got some drama points, but it's a really fun kind of thing to get into. So yeah, look forward to that. Spotty, how about you, man?
My coming up is not a video game, but a tabletop game. Games Workshop is going to release a game called Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. This plays by almost the same rules as Warhammer 40,000 8th edition, but it's on a much smaller scale, and the battles are so much more tense. It goes on pre-order on the 21st, and then it launches on the 28th.
It's pretty sweet. Is it anything like Kill Team for the PS3?
Probably.
Because that was a lot of fun. You remember playing that one when Space Marine came out?
I do remember playing that one. But it's going to be a lot smaller scale in that. It's going to be a small squad versus a small squad, and it's going to be every turn that everything can change in the battle.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So definitely check that out. Warhammer 40K Kill Team. There you go. I got it. Now I'm done. All right, great. Fantastic. Okay, and of course my pick, I want to go with a game that I actually pre-ordered because I was really, really excited about it, and I think I got a little overzealous with my excitement. Darksiders 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we got another trailer here recently about Fury's flame form. I do not know if this is going to be her actual chaos form. If it is, I'm a little bit underwhelmed. War got a chaos form, and he was this big flaming red demon thing. Death got a chaos form, and he was the incarnate of death itself. Fury got a flame form, and it's her hair. Her hair turns to fire. I am so impressed. But no, it looks really cool because I definitely enjoy the concept of playing as Fury. She's just that kind of odd character that just runs around with a whip, but you never underestimate her because she's a beast. So I'm looking forward to that. Darksiders 3, I'm really excited because that game series continues after a decent little scare. So look forward to that. Darksiders 3 in November. Check out the Apocalypse Edition or the Collector's Edition. They're both really great. And collector's editions. That might be a fun topic to cover next time on Gaming Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Daryl, where can we find you, brother?
You can find me here on Gaming Nation every week. You can find me on Phantom Anonymous and Phantom YouTube channel.
All right, Dan, where can we find you, buddy?
You already know where to find me. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as the Fan Club. TFC563. You can also find me on Facebook, D-BROZ, Dan Brosnan. And also, check us out on the Gaming Nation page, man. It's going down on there all the time. We have fun.
That's it. Spotty, where can we find you, brother?
You can find me on Tales of the Blade on Facebook. You can find me Spotty Butt at Instagram. You can find me on Angry Cheetah Gamer on YouTube.
All
and
right.
right here on Gaming Nation.
There you go. And of course, I'm Clay from Tales of the Blade. Find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, right here on Gaming Nation and Fandoms Anonymous. Both on the Facebook pages and the YouTube pages. And it's just a great time. Come join the chats. Definitely get in there. Join the channel. It's a lot of fun to be here because if you didn't know who we are Fandoms Anonymous, FANDOMSANONYMOUS. We're all over social media. Check us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, of course, right here on YouTube. Join the conversations again. Come join the fun. It's always a great time, and we look forward to having you. And of course, as we always like to say, if there's anything else, thanks for listening and have a good one. Now I'll run like crazy because these dogs are still chasing. Oh, they actually stopped chasing me? Oh, no, they didn't! I'm gonna die.